When video game music was fairly new, it was not at all unheard of for games to have classical music. I can name a ton off the top of my head. The reasons for this are likely varied, but there are some obvious reasons why this approach is preferable. Games were typically developed by one person, and it was easier to program pre-existing music than find someone to compose for you, or try to make music yourself if that's not something you're really about. Since classical music is public domain, you could legally use it, and for the more popular pieces, finding sheet music would be relatively easy. Or, hey, sometimes developers just envision the game having classical music from the beginning. Even when video game composers were well established, some games would use it anyway. Some developers still do this today. But getting back to the early days, when a game became really popular in the arcade, demand for a version you could play at home entered the picture. At this point, a team would be hired to create a port for a console or home computer, and now this team includes a sound designer who is good at creating music. They can decide to just recreate the music as closely as they can, or take their own creative liberties and make their own original take on it. Whether or not the original creator used songs from the public domain, if the original music feels uninspired, or just doesn't really sound that great on the machine's hardware, making an upbeat electronic mix can suddenly make something drab into something amazing. Now let's talk about Gyruss, which used Bach's Toccata and Fugue as its background music. If you don't know it by name, you probably still know it. Here's how it goes. Now, the arcade version of Gyruss already did its own upbeat take on the original music, although it's not anything especially inspiring. It's when the game was ported to other systems that it got an awesomeness overhaul. This is the Commodore 64 version. In fact, there are a few slight variations on the theme that play on different levels. Now this is all cool enough, but I'd like to direct your attention to the warp sound when the ship goes from level to level. Okay, cool sound effect, but what's so special about it? Take a look at the very beginning of the first level as you start a new game. What am I getting at? This is not a sound effect played at the same time as the music. This is part of the music. If you extract the game's music and play it independently of the game, you hear the exact same thing. Considering the Commodore 64 can only play 4 musical tones at a time, this is an impressive chiptune, and it sounds amazing. As a joke, many years ago I uploaded a video of me playing the Game Boy Tetris music on piano. Using obvious camera trickery and recording the notes separately, I mixed them together to make it sound like someone playing the theme flawlessly. Despite the overall jokey approach to the video, a number of people actually took it seriously, and although I never got around to it, I considered seeing how far I could take the joke, playing increasingly complicated video game music on the piano until people realized I was pulling their leg the whole time. If I did do that, Gyruss would have been the last ultimate challenge. It would have sounded a little like this. So, as you might have gathered, I really dig the music to this game and wanted to share it with all of you. Tragically, the name of the composer was left out of the credits, so we don't really know who it was who made this awesome version. Blame the Parker brothers, I guess. I hope you enjoyed listening, and you can skip ahead to the timestamps in the description below if you want to hear the music uninterrupted. Thanks for watching.